Starting a business? Developing a product, or about to register a domain name? This video will show you how to make your business name, product name, or domain name memorable. If you think about it, the name of a product or service is the ultimate in the most condensed or packed aspect of the product or service. Naming is the area where marketers and business owners spend the least amount of time. The names of all the products and services out there are so bad, I think the names actually cause the businesses, products, or services to fail. Good names can not only cause the products to succeed, they can dominate their categories for years, decades, or even hundreds of years. One of my favorite names is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has been considered to be the most valuable brand name in the world. Why is Coca-Cola such a good name, and why has the company kept a beverage that in tests does not taste as good as its competitor? How does that happen? Well, if you take the name and you dissect it, you can really dig into it and use some knowledge of human psychology. Maybe you can get some insight. Let me tell you about a part of the brain that you've probably never heard of. This part of the brain is called the phonological loop. This is something I learned about from psychology professor Dr. Matthew McGlone, and it's very interesting. I've done a lot of research on it since. The phonological loop is part of the brain that receives sound through the ears and plays it over and over again for a few seconds after you hear it. Example: have you ever said to someone, "You're not listening to what I'm saying," and they say, "Yes, I heard what you said," and you say, "What did I say?" Well, they tell you the last 10 words, and it pisses you off because you know they were not listening. You wonder how they remember the last 10 words, and it's especially annoying when it's a kid. Well, it's the phonological loop that's at play here. That part of their brain is playing back a few seconds of what they heard, even though they were not listening, but yet they can even dictate what the last few words were as if they were listening intently. Another thing that's interesting about the brain and sound, and this is something I got from Jack Trout, one of the authors of Positioning, is that the mind learns by ear and not by sight. So most people desire names that sound good, not names that look good. If the sound is friendly and attractive to the phonological loop, and it bounces around in the ear a little longer, it will be more memorable. So how do you make something more tasty to the phonological loop? How do you make a sound that bounces around longer than the average couple of seconds? I challenge you to ask yourself how you come up with sound that bounces around for a couple of seconds but is addictive. That is to say, keeps coming up in the brain of your prospect like a sound you cannot get out of your mind. Here are some key elements to making a name memorable. A repetitive sound in the name. This usually comes down to alliteration, the same first sound, or rhyming the last sound. When you dissect the name Coca-Cola, you find something very interesting. It has both alliteration and rhyme. Co-ca-cola. Coca-Cola. They are almost the same word, Coca and Cola. There's only a one-letter difference. When the mind hears Coca-Cola, it just rattles around and bounces in the brain over and over. Another example is the Palm Pilot. It has alliteration and it's very memorable. The company has since dropped the name Pilot, so now it's just called Palm. Well, competition is coming and taking it over, and now the hot name of the minute is BlackBerry. So if you want to create a good name, put sounds that are repetitive into the name. Some favorite names. Bed Bath & Beyond. This has alliteration. The same sound goes on and on. Pixel Chicks. This has the repetitive ch sound. Pixel Chicks. Norma Jean Mortensen. This is the name that Marilyn Monroe was given. She changed it to Marilyn Monroe because she felt it was more memorable. Marilyn Manson. This is an ingenious name because it juxtaposes two names. Marilyn, think of Marilyn Monroe, and Manson, think of Charlie Manson. It has alliteration and rhythm. Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson. That just sticks in your brain. It creates its own category instantly. Captain Crunch, Eminem. These are just a few of the thousands of names that build repetitive sounds that go on and dominate their category. Think about the names of other businesses like Saran Wrap, Coca-Cola, Krispy Kreme, Chuck E. Cheese, Willy Wonka, Barbie, Google, Hamburger Helper, Crispy Crunch, Blockbuster, and pipeline profits. What do all of these have in common? Well, that's right. They resonate. When you create names, use the above principles so your name will be almost impossible to forget. This will give you the highest probability of success over your competition. To help you generate business name ideas, product name ideas, and domain name ideas, you can use the same naming software used by million-dollar naming companies. Here's the clincher. At businessnameidea.com, you can download it for a steal.